Hello, we are live. My name's Alec. This is White Whale Comics. And you're watching New Comic Book Day Book Club. We read a porno book this week. Cool. I got my buddy John with me, as always.
I usually prefer to watch my porn, but this was interesting. It was something different. Try something new.
You get to pace your porn at your own pace. And our special guests this week are three fine gentlemen who run a podcast called First Issue Club, which is basically our show, but they did it before us, and it's better. So why don't you say hi, guys?
Hi. I wouldn't say it's better, but we are here. That was a true statement.
Care to introduce yourselves individually, or you just want to be like a collective Borg?
We can say our names, but you can just call us FIC or First Issue Club. I'm Mike. Mike's gonna also say his name, but I go by Budget King on the podcast. It's really zany how I got that name, so I won't go into it. I'm Greg.
That's Mike.
And that's it.
Plain old Mike.
Yep.
Not a show, but like the Budget King.
Yeah, not a show off with fancy nicknames. I Got Issues is already in the chat with saying "lick my balls."
Perfect.
No, he walked into the comic core and somebody was joking with that comment, "lick my balls." It was the first thing he heard when he jumped.
I prefer to watch my porn. Well, the first thing that we were going to say is dickhole, so
yeah,
I think it was better. Shout out.
Restart.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out some people in the chat already. Wingnut was here waiting way ahead of time. Thank you, Wingnut. 90 Mother Effin' Comics is here. Sammy Strikes Back. Hi, Sammy. TJ, The Slab Dragon Watson. Comic Head 84. Comic Jabroni. Old Wolf 65. Bake the Snake. Got a lot of Floridians here tonight. Thank you very much. Brandon, hey-o, I Got Issues, obviously. He says dick butt. So funny story really quickly before we get into the book. There is a lawyer in my town whose name is Richard Butts, Esquire. And I really want to draw a dick butt on the sign. Luis Ramirez, 504. Mr. Garrel is here. Thank you all for joining. We read this book. It's called Faithless. And I also bought the naughty cover, which I didn't realize how naughty it was going to be. Here is a bag. It's like a loose condom. But I'm not going to show it because, like I was telling these guys, I will probably
I'm going to do it. No, I'm just kidding.
I will get 100% permabanned from YouTube because it is raunchy.
It's Eric Larson level.
There's penis, there's fingers in a vagina.
There's a beehole.
I've never seen or done before.
There is a very rendered beehole.
It's the first time I ever bought a comic with a butthole on it.
Yeah, hopefully won't be the last.
Live high on that.
If I'm lucky.
So yeah, it is graphic. Check it out.
Yep.
Cool. So for the graphic nature of that cover, I mean, it was still pretty graphic, but I thought it was going to be more graphic than it was.
No, the cover took it to another level. I think it's, I have the Savage Dragon Polybag 225, which is equally graphic, but there's more people.
Yeah, Comic Jabroni asks, is it worse than Savage Dragon 225?
I would say it's right on that par. What they can do with one person here, Savage Dragon needed 4 people. So in that way, I give credit to this artist, maybe.
Savage Dragon does not have a beehole, though.
It does not. What? Unless you count the artist. Unless you don't like Eric Larson.
Okay. I was like, is that canon? Does Savage Dragon not have a butthole?
Maybe. We'll have to ask I Got Issues.
I am not aware of that.
Comic Head, I will send you a picture after the show.
Yes.
Great.
Someone is asking what this thing is. It is a beanbag chair that I don't have anywhere to put.
Or sex. I thought it was a dead body.
Beanbag chair.
There we go.
No, yeah, it's a sex bed. This is gonna be porn talk hour. So get ready to get dirty. Oh, John's excited. I just piqued his interest.
Boy, when I get on somebody else's channel, sometimes it gets raw.
Yeah, we're about to get horny up in here. So why don't we actually talk about the book?
There's a book. Forgot.
Yeah, it's not just about boobs and beeholes. I know, John, you are a Brian Azzarello fan, at least with 100 Bullets.
Yeah, I mean, I loved 100 Bullets and Batman Damned, and my girls and I were working through the Wonder Woman run that he did and enjoying that as well.
What about you guys, Fick?
Yeah, so he made waves with the Bat Dick, didn't he, in Batman Damned?
Yes, he did.
Yep. Although technically he didn't draw the dick, so you could argue he just wrote about it.
His writing.
Right? It's right there.
So I think we all three love his writing in particular.
Big fan of 100 Bullets, and
big fan of his wife, Jill Thompson, who's done some great stuff with Sandman and
Beast of Burden.
Yeah, I love those books. So they're quite the creative couple there.
Yes, agreed. I'm a big fan as well. This book was especially Azzarello-y. I'm going to turn that into a word. And what I mean by that was, like, you're just thrown into conversations and scenes, and it's just like very, like, he kind of expects you to understand the scene without really giving you any information about what's happening. And people just, like, kind of talk in half sentences sometimes. And would you agree? Or am I talking out of my beehole?
You might be talking out of your beehole, but you are 100% correct. I think the scenes, especially like the coffee shop scene that happens in the first panel or so, there's a lot of like tech jib jab that I didn't really get. Like what I had to read the ghost conversation like 4 times.
You don't know what ghosting is?
It didn't really.
Well, I agree. Like it skipped around, like who's talking to who and what they're getting fragments of and repeating each other a little bid. And I totally agree. I read that bit 3 or 4 times just to kind of be like, okay, do I fully understand every little layer of this? Because people are like halfway in the middle of conversations and then leaving, and you're just trying to keep track of it all. And then they use nicknames for characters who I don't know their actual name. So they call one girl Hermione as a joke, and I'm like, okay, I get it, she's a witch. But then the other girl's name is freaking Ginny, and I'm like, that's another Harry Potter character. Is this like a thing? Am I lost in this? Is everybody freaking have a Harry Potter nickname, or is this an actual person named Ginny? Like I
like how you were able to just tie in Harry Potter and use the word lost in the same sentence.
I do my best. I wanted to say something. I Got Issues says we have 5 guys in a group video chat that will never be followed by "We are about to get horny up in here."
Hey man, it takes all kinds.
For me, I was thinking like we have 5 guys breaking down a comic book all about like lesbians. There's something about this that feels like we're misrepresenting this novel in some way. Or the story.
It's also written by a man, so
fair point.
One thing we compared it to was the Image book Unnatural.
Yeah.
We actually just recorded our podcast reviewing this book, or just discussing this book, and so we were talking about how this comic book might be revolutionary and at least starting a trend for like sex positive books. That doesn't change that we're white males covering this. But this wasn't like pervy like porn book.
Yeah.
This was like even like the beginning where she doesn't like quite achieve her orgasm and the awkward kind of
whoa
out stuff.
Watch the language there.
Okay,
you mean it's possible for women to have an orgasm? Wait a second.
As the rumor goes.
Yeah. Oh, how many incels subscribe to this?
There are 2 on the panel. That's not true. No, sorry. Go on.
That was it. That like I think it's like sex positive, and I got unnatural vibes from it. That book that I liked a lot.
I haven't
pig
read
porn.
That. Yeah, pig porn. Which, like, hey man, it's your thing. Go get it.
Yeah. So I want to. Yeah, talking about that opening. Sorry. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, when the more and more you go to conventions, the more you see people with, you know, diverse interests, and like the more I think kink is coming out at like Comic Cons, that it's like nerd culture is getting like super sexual, and it's super interesting to see like different niches of that starting to develop and being on your popular comic book store stands.
Yeah.
Like you used to have to find these like really bizarre independent comic books that were very pulpy that you could never find just by like going to your shop on Main Street. But it's starting to change, I think. And 5 years ago we would have looked at something like this and it would have been like just for the boys.
Right. Yeah, American values are in the toilet.
I felt like
don't get Chris going, man. For me, I wanted to talk about that opening sequence, where she's
I bet you do
taking care of herself. Yeah, I do. It's a powerful sequence in that, like, it's completely unsatisfying and for her, and then fine for me. And then,
I was gonna say, just like for every woman I've been with.
And then what I think is interesting about it is, there's this idea that for a woman, that kind of thing is evil or wrong, or that's been very popular in culture for a really long time. Not so much anymore, but certainly for a very long time. And this sort of like the devil's handwork, if you will.
Hey, now
there's something. Hey, I'm doing a lot of puns. There's something kind of cool about presenting this in a way where you get to see maybe the psychological elements going along with the physical elements.
Agreed. Sorry, I was reading Chris's comment that said, I think nerd culture is inherently horny and had a lot of pent-up sexual tension.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, that's why they have to have the cosplay is not consent posters everywhere.
Yeah, which should not be necessary, by the way.
It shouldn't, but nerds don't know not to touch Harley Quinns when they see them walking.
Bear Island said, if finishing quickly is cool, consider me Miles Davis. Nailed it. So going back for a second to talk about how Azzarello-y this is, it is quite literally the opposite of one of my biggest complaints that I always bring up on the show, which is exposition. Like, this is the opposite of that. It's not telling you almost enough, but no surprise, that's great for me. Just like that first scene.
No, I agree. Yeah. I love it when they're controlling the exposition. I just I also feel like that there's a real. It's almost like where the word bubbles were. It was a bit confusing to track that scene, which is fine because there's not like any huge important info drop happening there. It can be more like coffee house chatter, and it's all just sort of flowing over one another, and you don't need each word.
It's almost like you are in the coffee house overhearing this conversation.
Yeah. Can I ask you guys a question? How do you think magic is going to be served in this comic book? How does it come about?
As far as moving forward,
is it real?
So is magic even real in this book? Does it happen ever?
Yes.
Right. So the question is, I guess, is she actually doing magic, or is this spoiler alert lady made out of maggots the one creating these scenarios in order to make it look like magic is happening? So is she some sort of demon who has abilities?
Well, either way, aren't we admitting that magic is real? In either of those scenarios, either the devil woman is doing it or she's magically doing it herself. Either way, it's happening, right? We're not putting out a scenario where there is no magic and it's all just like in her head.
Sure.
Because I reread it for a moment, looking at like the physical characteristics that were similar between these two women, and there are definitely elements that made me feel like, wow, it's almost like an alternate side of her own personality where she just went punk and now like there's this other side to her, and they're very similar features and almost eye color. Like I was like, dark brown versus light brown, like are we really, like how far off base are we here? And so I almost looked at it as like, is there a possibility that this magic isn't there is no magic in this, that this is all like happening inside of her head.
Oh, so she thinks she's a crazy person.
I don't know.
Well,
That this is a fantasy level of her subconscious.
I think maybe to give a little bit to John's point, when she's in the coffee shop and she's drawing the ruin, she says, like, do you want this to be money or sabotage? And like, essentially a money magic happens later, like right after that.
Yeah.
Which I think is coincidental, or not coincidental.
I thought she pickpocketed that guy.
She did. And then she gave the wallet back.
Right, in order to get the reward.
Yeah, she was hoping for a reward, so I don't know. When I pickpocket somebody, I just take their money.
Right, because...
When you break up with people, do they jump off buildings?
All the time.
Okay.
But I think it left us a little bit of room to like question whether certain things were circumstance or whether they were influenced by one of these people, both of these people.
Or did her magic summon the demon lady?
Right, and I think we
okay.
had considered that, so I think that's a really good point or counterpoint.
Every once in a while, I'll get one. She says it's been 22 episodes of book club, and I still don't know what exposition is.
It's a new X-Men that they just created.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's...
You're too busy trolling us.
Exactly. Did you guys realize that she does achieve her orgasm at the end of the book?
Yes.
So is the only way that she can get off with maggots?
I took it as like, for her, like, this is all again, part of what made me think like maybe I should reread it from the perspective of, is she one person or is she two people, was like, she ends up kind of in the same.
I'm going to cover up the boobs and show this. I think that's safe to show, right?
That's probably fine.
Totally.
Maggots. Everybody's cool with maggots. At the end, she achieves her orgasm, but it seems like it's built on all the things that preceded it, and it all feels like fantasy to her. For me, it almost feels like this is all just something that she's been using to get herself off, and maybe again the part that made me want to go back and reread it and look at it this way was
the last few pages.
Well, sure. But like, was looking at it from the perspective of, is this all just fantasy to her? Is this all that is this what she needs to be able to complete this experience?
John, I had considered that at all, but and I kind of love that, like, that premise. But for me, if that is it, I don't know how you sustain an ongoing comic book with that premise.
Well,
good news, it's only 5 issues.
But no, but like, if that's the truth, then what is splintering her to what extent, and where does this lead? So like, for me, I looked at it as like, is it possible that the guy who comes and confronts the green-haired or the girlfriend, is it possible he's talking to our character and he's upset with her, and then when she brushes him off so brusquely, he's like, I'm gonna go kill myself now. Well, there's not 2 women standing there. There's maybe one.
We got ourselves like a Fight Club situation here.
I don't know how far I want to go with it, because I don't necessarily feel like that's where it's going, but I do feel like her psyche created this woman, and so there's a connection there, and she brought this woman about in a way that, like, to fulfill a need that she had. So it's Fight Club. There is a connection between the guy that committed suicide and our character. It wasn't just like this one moment. I feel like she forced this scenario to happen. Our character.
Well, I think maybe one way or another, depending on if it's real or not. To jump around a little bit, I really liked art a lot. The artist, whose name is Maria Lovett, I guess, did all of the art. So she did the coloring and everything, and it's like very poppy, very, like, I don't know, I really like the color, and it was very clearly readable for me the whole time. I don't know, I'm a big fan. Thumbs up.
Same.
Yeah, it reminded me of Brandon Graham a little bit.
Yeah, it had a very like zine-esque, but like very like aware zine-esque look to it. It was good. I wasn't familiar with her. She did another book called Loud, which I hadn't heard of.
No, I had not heard of her either. But I'm into the artwork. I'm also into this scene that I just showed, where she licks her tear and then says "too soon." But I mean, she's referencing the thing she just said, which is a joke about the guy who just jumped off a building. But she's also saying it about the tear, right?
Yeah. That I love that too. Anybody that cries in front of me, I always try to taste their tears. So that was like a nice little thing.
You're like, oh, that allowed you to relate to the book a little bit.
So
relatable. But yeah, that was pretty sexy. And then so she goes back to her to the green-haired girl's place, and she's like, come out to a party with me. And she's like, oh, I stink. And so she says, take a shower. And then the green-haired girl like invades her privacy and walks in on her in the shower.
Right.
And then gets naked.
Which, if I can interrupt, every time that I take a shower at a stranger's home, this always happens. They always walk in on me taking a shower and turn into maggots.
Really?
Yeah.
Friday.
Every time, right?
Every time.
I think you have a lawsuit on your hand.
Another thing that kind of made me think that there's an element of fantasy to all of this is that it seems so absolutely insane that she would go to all these places with just some random woman she accidentally spilled coffee on. Yeah, there are so many times when I'm like, don't you just exit this scenario at some point? Don't
Not
you just
if you're having a good time and you're super attracted to somebody.
Yeah, I was
at some point
like,
you just
she has not much stake. Like, we don't know her job. We don't know, is she in a relationship or not? We don't really know anything about her. And so, like, we kind of were just like, yeah, I guess she's just having a fun romp with this person that gets paintings painted of her.
I thought you were going to say you thought it was strange that they're both young women and have pubic hair.
Wow.
They were talking about porn, man. I can say what I want. So she comes in and she's like, and she gets all blushy, and then the green hair girl says, yeah, I can't show any of this, by the way, because there's a lot of nudity and pubic hair. And then she says, I've never done, and the other girl says, awesome. And then they start making out. And I assume she means I've never done anything with another girl.
Yeah.
But she...
another human.
Or maybe. That could be the case. I didn't think of that.
I'm assuming you're building towards a certain panel.
They get real down to clown real quick.
Yes.
And the next couple pages are not viewable on YouTube.
Well, but there is a panel that is viewable that I do think is kind of significant. It's the middle of the next page right after the shower. It's the middle panel.
Yeah, I don't know that we can show that.
The kissing. It's just the mouths kissing.
Oh, okay.
It's right after the shower. The next page
with the two tongues, and
yes,
it looks like,
but with the like weird red
like
liquid
blood
passing between them.
Oh, right. I don't think I saw that.
I thought you were going to talk
Alec,
about. I thought you were
got a better camera. Why don't you hold it up?
Oh yeah, sure. Let me see if I can just avoid the cunnilingus.
Nope, fail.
Yeah. So there it is.
Okay, cool. I didn't realize
there's something, yeah, because it was not. There was something weird passing between them there that added a layer of like mystery to this for me. That was not simply just an act. And obviously later we get maggot lady, and that is like a whole other layer to this. But it seemed like before that moment happened, there was I don't know, some kind of bond that occurred there, and I was trying to like, come up with a logical reason for it, or
Issues thinks we're going to get banned.
How does everybody? Well, it's be on my channel.
He also says avoid the cunnilingus is my middle name.
Wow.
Avoid the cunnilingus.
So, yeah, it definitely it didn't end with the reveal of a bad guy, or did it?
I was gonna say
know.
maybe.
I mean, unless this woman is the bad person in the story.
Yeah, I mean, she's down to clown with demon shit, so maybe she found her perfect partner.
Yeah, right. Like she's all about magic and runes, and you know, they say someone says like, "Don't mess with the devil like that." And she's like, "Well, it's just nature."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, yeah. Well, what's under the ground? Hell." So,
Sammy says this is my favorite book club so far.
You're welcome. So yeah, I don't know. At the risk of sounding like a total perv, I really liked it.
We did too.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. I was pumped on it, and I'm not big into we're not big into like those Red Sonja, Barbarello, and like all those like weird like zombie freak boob books.
Yeah,
those kind of like
it didn't feel that. It didn't feel like exploitative.
Yeah, it wasn't unnecessarily vulgar. It felt kind of weirdly natural to tell the story this certain way.
Right, and
if everybody in the comment section could like just look at the last weird sex thing that they looked up and share it, this would be a nice like vulnerable moment for us if they wanted to share what they're into.
Welcome to book club, Mike.
Man. Wow.
Copy and paste your Google searches.
Very elderly butts. So this shop near me, which I won't name because they're I'm about to badmouth them a little bit, wouldn't let me buy 2 different covers. They're like, "Oh, we have to limit you to one." And they said, "Oh, we have to limit you to one unless you're a subscriber." And I was like, "That's kind of weird. You got a whole pile of them over there, but if you want to be a beehole about it." So I didn't get the other non-sexy Virgin cover.
The Virgin or just the cover A?
The one behind Budget King's head.
Oh yeah,
yep. That's
nothing virgin about any of these books.
No, they're at the end of this book there are no virgins.
That's stupid because this book isn't even specking that hard. Like
no, even the dirty cover is only like $6 on eBay, or the Bay as the kids call it.
It sold out in our shop. They sold it in your shop.
Yes.
Your shop, Mike.
But I got to my shop a half an hour after they opened, and they had 3 copies left.
So yeah, Comics Heating Up had it at $13.99 at like 9 o'clock this morning. But then I think it's gone down throughout the day.
Yeah.
But I really stuck it to them because I got. All right, this is going to be spec talk, which I'm not supposed to do anymore, but it's not Monday yet, so I got to get it out of my system. I found this for $5. Got him. And then when they saw me bring it up to the register, I heard them talking to each other, and they're like, "Oh, is that why does he have that book? Is that like a hot book now?"
Jesus Christ.
Go fuck that shop. That's stupid. I hate that shit. Yeah.
So just to extra spite them, I'm gonna put it in my charity auction this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's 2 Batgirl 23s behind me. One of them belongs to I Got Issues. For all the people wanting to buy it off me. I've sold it a lot of times. Issues, I'm sorry. So yeah, they were. I didn't get to get the 3rd cover, which probably is for the best. I don't need 3 covers of any book except for Little Bird. You guys read Little Bird?
Did you buy the 2nd print today?
Hell yeah!
I've never heard of Little Bird. I've never heard of this book.
Yeah, shut up.
Do you have a spare?
I've got, well, now 9, including the 2nd print.
That much? Damn.
I've got 5 of the regular cover, the 3 incentive variants. I need the ash can still. If anyone sees the ash can, let me know.
Comics.
You bought 5 of the regular
Lord, do you eat ramen for dinner for the whole week?
Those are going to be worth $1.
I don't care, man. I'm not. It's not even for spec. I just want to like have them and hold them.
I think whenever you have more copies of a comic,
I like that.
than Boy Who Had 7 has kids, that's a problem.
Well, I disagree.
They're my babies.
So, pull list?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's only 5 issues, John.
Make my pull list. Yeah,
five
I know.
issues.
I know. I don't think so. I don't think.
Old Bird says, "Alec, is your bird still little after reading this book?" It always is.
Oh, wow.
What? I'm talking about my canary.
I was gonna say that even though I want to pick up the next one, I'm just kind of not sure where the book goes from here because the stakes were just like out of control in the first book. Through the course of one day, we met a stranger, pickpocketed somebody, had an ex commit suicide, had our first sexual experience. Just what an insane day.
Yeah, maggot demon.
I guess we'll get into more demon shit the next one.
Yeah.
Progress upward. Yeah.
Where do you go with the
I
six,
wanted
though?
to.
Hopefully more hardcore.
Are they going to have a T-Mag cover every week?
I hope so. I don't know.
I love
John is just mortified.
No, I'm not. I'm fine with that element. I agree. I don't know where it goes from here, and for me, I think it was a little too all over the place for me. Like I wanted a little more understanding of what was going on, even in a small sense. It seemed like I barely even know this girl. Like I have no understanding of who she is as a person. I know that she apparently kind of half dabbles in witchcraft, but like I don't know if that's just her drawing pictures and calling them spells, if like she just does this in her spare time. I don't know really anything about her except that apparently she's like totally interested in just hanging out with random strangers and taking a shower at their house. Like in my head, I was trying to think like if the genders were totally flipped, this sounds like the beginning of a murder story. Like if I'm at a coffee shop and I bump some guy and he spills coffee on him and I feel bad, and it sounds totally different to me. And it should, I think that a little bit of that should bleed over to this story where we're wondering like, why would somebody willingly go through this? Like, oh, I spilled coffee on this guy and we walk outside and I feel bad for it. And then his girlfriend runs up, freaks out, and I have to chill her out and she leaves. And then I'm like, hey, do you want a drink? Let's go have a drink. I'm sorry if you're freaking out. And then we see her commit suicide on the TV, and then he invites me to his house to go. And he drinks my tear. We go back to his house, and I feel the need to take a shower at his house, and then he climbs in with me.
Yeah, I mean, you're selling it for me, man.
Yeah.
Old Wolf says, John, it's porn, not War and Peace.
Right. For me, it just seemed like I had so many questions, basically all beginning with the word why.
So. Your wife doesn't watch this show, right?
Not often.
So if you were, let's say you were a single gentleman out on the town.
Okay.
And you spilled coffee on a 10. And
a snack. A whole snack.
A baker's dozen. Yeah. And she takes off her shirt in front of you and is wearing that bra. And she said, hey, you want to go grab a drink?
I might grab the drink. I just honestly would have huge warning signs going off in my head. Like, why does this woman want anything to do with me? Why is she taking her top off in the middle of a coffee shop and then day drinking with me for no good reason except that she just had her boyfriend come up to her? And clearly the boyfriend issue is another warning sign. Like, she's got clearly ex-boyfriend problems. Why do I want to get further into this rabbit hole? Figurative,
Wingnuts,
not literal.
Well, Wingnut says, okay, never watch porn with John.
Well, what? Why would you watch porn with someone?
I don't know. Because you just like to have the company?
Audience.
Sammy says, sounds like a typical Friday night. Barbarian Kung Fu says, okay, you talked me into it, John. I'm going back tomorrow and buying it.
I saw that.
I will say also, it seemed a little bit heteronormative like writing in some ways, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm totally into lesbian shit now. Like, let's get our lesbian on. It didn't seem like very natural to be like thinking about that process from a non-heteronormative stance.
Yeah, but it's easy to put yourself in the position of the main character, and it as a straight man, and it being like, oh, that's a hot chick. I get it.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's I had if it was heterosexual and you put a man like me or whatever in that scenario, I still have warning signs going off in my head that don't make me instantly think, hey, I'm gonna go over to her place and take a shower. Like, but, I'd be like, if I need a shower, I'll go to my house. I'll meet you at the event.
John, I don't know if
was Joe Biden doing that, he'd be in handcuffs.
John, I don't know if you missed this part. The green-haired girl is a demon, and she probably was using all sorts of spells to attract her.
Actually, I did want to talk a little bit about the devil idea.
Like succubus that like just kind of entrances
What's
people.
that?
Yeah, there's this idea that maybe she's like the devil. It felt very Witches of Eastwick almost, like, for me, where you could imagine this idea of a malevolent sort of underworld demon devil character playing on her wants and desires. And I could totally buy that. I just would have needed a little more setup, I think, and not just sort of the randomness of it all.
Comics Misexplained said the first time my wife was at a bar and she mooned me, so it's not that far-fetched.
Oh, yeah. So
you're running with the...
His first date, he saw anus before anything else. So this book could have been about him, actually.
Just like the cover of this book.
Just like the cover. I was gonna say.
you see beehole before anything.
Yeah.
Don't read it. Just keep walking.
I got to choose comment.
Yeah. You know when he writes 2 lines that you should just keep going.
Yeah. Like, we've said so much worse things on this episode so far. I don't know why you don't want me to read it.
No, I'm kidding. I'm totally joking. It's funny. I said LOL. I typed LOL.
Yeah, okay. You gave him what he wanted, the attention.
Yes. Exactly.
I should never have given him a wrench. It really draws my eye to his comments.
But I was saying, like, the Witches of Eastwick style of this, like, it did feel like a female character, much like those 3 women in that book or film, depending on what your preference is, who are clearly frustrated in sexually in this character's case, but like dealing with that frustration and then having this sort of devil character prey on that.
Man, you're getting roasted, John. JP's Budget Collecting says, John watching porn, no one invites the pizza guy in. Why would you do that?
Oh my God.
That's good stuff. Well,
I like to understand my characters and their motivations.
4 out of 5 perverts agree we're buying this book next week.
He's a method reader.
Oh, wait, Mike. Wait, the mic on that with no, they're all wearing hats. No. So the mic with the hat is on my side.
What?
Mike with the hat was saying he's not going to buy the next issue.
Did you?
I'm a little iffy on it. I gave it a thumbs up, but I'm iffy on it.
Yeah.
Here's my
Stay strong, Mike.
I think I give writers that I'm familiar with a lot more rope, and I think that popular writers know that they're going to get more slack, and they've got a longer time to kind of divulge certain things, that more people are going to buy the second issue without you totally giving away the big cliffhanger or that nugget of the story that's...
well, he already used up all his long rope in Batman Damned. Got him.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long.
Yeah.
It's cold in the Bat Cave, darn it, Greg.
Yeah, that's Faithless. We made it through talking about a porno. Or did we?
Now I just have to hide it from my daughters.
Yes, please. Oh boy.
So the vacuum sealer.
So what we didn't ever really decide on a debate topic. What you want to just off the cuff choose one, John?
You wanted the funniest porn names you could come up with, which I think the chat would have a field day with that.
Okay, let's do it. Worst names for a porn star.
I got
Johnny Harry Hands.
That's pretty bad.
Greg Lichtai from First Issue Club.
I don't know. That kind of does it for me.
Mom?
Oh, yep.
Oh.
Comics Books Explained said white whale. Thank you very much.
The one I heard a long time ago was gingivitis.
That's pretty bad.
Oh.
The one I thought of today after I came up with that question doesn't make any sense, but it makes me laugh. Hugh Jamanus.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really about the porn star's name; it's their performance, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is based on
You guys
motivation,
think
which is
it's-
what
you
gets
guys
me
into one
interested
Custer?
in the story.
Yeah. That's why Spielberg did porn when he started directing.
Right? We all start somewhere.
Were you guys throwing around worst sex scene in a movie?
Yeah, we also brought that up if you want to touch on that.
You guys, I think this movie's called Brothers Brigsby with Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh, yeah.
He has like a brother. Anyway, there's a crazy scene in that where there's just elephant jizz, like tons of elephant jizz, while he's stuck in a fake elephant. He gets fucked by an elephant.
Yeah.
And it is insanity how much elephant jizz is in that scene. Literally, if you haven't seen that movie, do yourself a favor because it is insane.
So there is a clip of Sacha Baron Cohen on one of the late night talk shows, and they obviously don't show the clip, but they show the clip to the audience, and
where you just get blasted with like elephant jizz. It is insane.
Yeah, I
my friend's little sister.
don't know if I'm gonna
Oh,
top.
comic books misexplained. Come on, man. Jesus. He picked The Room as having the sex scene. It's most awful.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. I'm
Yeah,
just saying the whole
it's
point is to make us
Tommy's
laugh,
ass
not like
for a while.
traumatize us.
Yeah, I mean, you did laugh.
I actually didn't. I didn't know where the vagina was because the only sex thing I'd ever seen was The Room. So I was always
You
trying.
thought it was like above the belly button, right?
Yeah.
You're carrying a pod, Lisa.
Wow. Comics misexplained is now going to emojis.
Yeah. This is getting
other good sex scenes.
how much
Team
elephant
America.
is too much, Bear Allen asked.
Oh yeah, team. Mike said Team America. That sex scene's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so amazing. Good pick.
Sausage Party. That sex scene. The end. 15 minutes of that.
I never saw that.
Oh, it's totally worth seeing.
Just for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out like a real, actual uncomfortable one. Is you know what I'm gonna say? Requiem for a Dream.
What?
Yep.
Oh,
Had to be.
Yeah.
Had to be.
That one's rough.
Yeah, that's a real rough one to watch, not in a funny way.
No.
That is probably the worst sex scene we've made.
I win.
Yeah. Didn't in Monsters Ball, Halle Berry had for real sex with what's his face?
Billy Bob.
Yeah,
Billy
Billy
Bob.
Bob Thornton.
They actually had
They had for real sex.
Oh, that's the same with what's the singer that was who's the singer on American Idol?
There's a lot of them.
Maroon 5. The Maroon 5 first video. Apparently, that's all real sex.
Gross.
Oh, Adam Levine.
Adam Levine fucks for real. In his
Well, I'm sure he does. Like
yeah.
a lot.
Oh, Adam Levine fucks.
Yeah, exactly. I want doors that go like this, not like this. Yeah, there's one time, I don't even know how I came across this. There was a list of like
Oh, I got issues. Oh, dear God.
Deliverance. Yep, got him.
Oh, Deliverance! Holy shit!
Shawshank, right?
Comic Head 84 says kid.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we've definitely gone off a different rail now.
Yeah, Issue said this show's made me uncomfortable.
You're welcome.
We can retire. We did it.
Success.
You're not alone. You're not alone, Chris. No.
You guys ever
They're quoting
watched
the movie.
videos?
What's that?
Have you guys ever watched porn fail videos?
Porn fail videos? No,
Like
but I know what I'm
bloopers?
doing the rest of the night.
Yeah.
It's called research, Alec. I was researching for tonight.
Yeah.
He says, I was clearly joking. This is my wheelhouse. Old boy in context. Yes, Comics Misexplained.
Oh. Yeah.
Got that one truth.
Didn't Black Snake Moan have a weird one
I never saw that movie.
with Christina Ricci?
And
The-
Justin Timberlake.
Christina Ricci. Was it Justin Timberlake or was it Samuel Jackson?
Both.
I could see how you could get them confused.
Yeah.
I could.
Way to spoil it.
I saw
I got shoes.
Eyes Wide Shut with some buddies, which was a mistake
Ugh.
because that one gets pretty intense.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of nudity in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I watched that movie with my debate teacher.
And then they dated for 2 years.
Pardon me.
She convinced you that was a good move.
I think we were at a hotel and then he regretted that was happening.
Whoa.
It was
That story changed a lot with that little nugget of information.
There's a group of us.
Not better.
Nope,
I
that's
don't know. I
still
also-
worse.
Yeah.
That's another layer of bad. Go
yeah,
on,
we
though.
can stop with this.
She'll just text you Fidelio every once in a while.
Yeah. No, I don't know. He's a good guy. He meant well. Just watching a movie on a debate trip, okay? Whoops, there's a bunch of sex.
How deep does this grave go? Because you just keep digging.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I don't think we're going to top that.
Yeah, the beauty is with a podcast is we say dumb shit like that and then we just take it out.
Yeah, we edit it.
Yeah. I'm going to give you guys a hard time about that. Say, like, we don't have that advantage of being able to edit out the dumb stuff we say. It's forever online. So you're welcome. Welcome to YouTube.
Perfect. Yeah. I won't say his name. I'm bad at saying proper nouns sometimes.
Mr.
What was the
Mr.
other?
Tremendous.
It's
You
been a
had
lot
question,
of
right?
improper nouns tonight.
That's a good point. Well, you had a third question that was intriguing.
Witches?
Witches. Big fan of witches. You guys watching Sabrina, the new season?
Not yet.
No, but we read the comic. It was a little more mild.
Yeah, hashtag first appearance of Susan.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Susan
The
Spector.
comic's a little more mild than the Netflix show.
Yeah,
That Netflix show is full devil.
we went like two ends of the spectrum back to back the last two episodes.
You just don't know what you're going to get when you tune into this
Oh,
show.
yeah, but you one.
Yeah, we watched. We read Sabrina last episode, and then we read a porno book.
I got issues apparently. What is perfectly happy crapping all over Sabrina and then complaining about this particular episode.
I got issues never happy, at least with me. Yeah, witches. I don't know. What do you think? Sanderson sisters.
The Craft.
Craft is good.
My mom is pagan.
For real?
I like her. She's like into earth shit, and she's also Catholic, but she's into witch shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Why not?
Yeah, she's a good lady.
Tell us more about your mom.
But I will later. Other famous witches.
The witches from Hocus Pocus. They were fun.
No, the Sanderson sisters, right?
Yes.
The witches of Eastwick. We mentioned that.
That was the one that I thought of. Yeah.
The movie just called Witches. I got she said Wicker Man. Are they
Is it
witches?
scary?
Could you count the characters in the Crucible, even though they're not technically witches?
What about Warlock the Armageddon? I guess he's a warlock. It's kind of a witch.
I mean, if
Yeah,
you want to
witch.
go like PG-13, you could go Harry Potter. There's some witches in that.
Yeah.
With the Wizard of Oz.
School full of them.
I know we're kind of going in like an RX-rated vein
Well,
here, but
we got
can take it back.
Wizard of Oz, Snow White. And I got it. She said, we're just like naming movies now. Practical Magic.
Hell yeah. Yeah, at this point, we're naming all the witches. But let's not forget any.
There hasn't been a good witch movie in a while.
Yeah, a witch.
Yeah, VV.
The VV.
That movie ruled.
Yeah, that is by far the best witch movie.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
We solved
Alec is wrong.
No, I didn't say any of mine were the best. I was just naming them.
Yeah. The game was just name a witch movie.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't even like an argument.
Yeah. Honestly, Flame didn't like the witch.
We can name. Oh, okay.
I like the goat. All right.
I think
why didn't you like?
Empirically, they're wrong. Yeah.
Throw up MO.
The witch.
That movie's straight up about Satan.
He says he likes the goat though.
Yeah. I have a shirt with Black Phillip on it, and it's got a bunch of upside down crosses. So I don't like to wear it out too much because I don't want to offend people. Or do I?
You can just go ahead and offend them.
Yeah, I think.
I was walking down the street with it once, though. Like, this is no joke, and this kid pulls his car over and jumps out and says, "Ask me if I want to talk about Jesus."
Whoa.
Yeah, I was like, "No, thank you."
That's why I wear this shirt.
Yeah.
I was wearing a stormtrooper shirt, but he had an upside down cross on like the top of his head, and some kid was like, "Oh, I like that shirt," and I was like, "Oh, you into Star Wars or devil shit?" This goes neither.
And that kid was 9.
I was equally offended by being in Boston and having some random stranger just walk up to me to start talking to me about the New England Patriots.
Interesting.
He was like, "Can you believe the game last night? Can you believe that game last night? Oh, unbelievable!"
You probably could have stopped that sentence as
I was like, "I don't know you, and I don't care about football. Why are you talking to me right
I was equally offended in being at Boston. I love Boston. I'm kidding. What's up, D Comic Queen? Thanks for coming in. You came in right at the right time because
right?
you would not want
Hopefully
to.
she hasn't been ghosting this conversation.
Do not watch the replay of this episode. I may not keep it up.
Oh.
Hey now. So I think that's about it, unless you guys want to talk about some other stuff.
You mean besides witches, lesbians, and porn?
Or any more about any of those things?
Kind of covered it all, I think.
Yeah.
I think so. I feel pretty good about this.
We're getting close to the witching hour in the Midwest anyway.
Yeah.
It is 6 minutes.
We'll have to spend the night here.
It's 6 minutes away from the witching hour here. I'm not gonna take it down. I'm gonna put it up twice. Barbarian Kung Fu. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I was just kidding. D Comic Queen. You can watch the replay. It's pretty good episode. We just say a lot of stuff about Behold and Cunnilingus. But it's in context.
Yeah.
I mean, the dick hole thing wasn't. But,
sometimes, not necessarily.
Anyway, you guys want to plug anything before we talk about next week's episode?
No.
Us.
Yeah, I mean, we got a podcast. We're covering first issues each week, but that's we don't need to plug that. Just
we're on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Just search First Issue Club and you'll find us.
Yeah,
I put link in the description to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher. The show is great. It's hilarious and informative.
Well, thank you.
And edited.
Yes.
So it takes out all this bull crap. And there's a girl on it.
Yeah.
Caitlin. Yeah, she's working, so she couldn't make it tonight.
Yeah, too bad. Or is it probably a good thing?
I think she would have left pretty early.
Yeah. I brought it up quite a few times. It's a great show. I I feel like a lot of comic podcasts are just like dudes talking about b-holes, like our show. But there's this like thoughtful and produced, and yeah, it's pretty great.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
We love White Whale as well.
Yeah.
Oh, me?
There's a lot of W's in there.
What do you know?
John, you got 2 of this, right? 2 of the dirty covers I saw on your Instagram.
I've got one still bagged, and I got one that I opened.
Cool. You gonna flip it, or you keeping it for value?
I don't know that it's going to skyrocket in value, but I'll hold on to it. It'll sit nicely with my Savage Dragon.
Oh, heck yeah.
There you go.
That cover was pretty gnarly, the Savage Dragon one.
Yes. Thankfully, I saw images of it, so I didn't feel the need to cut mine open. So mine is still bagged.
You gotta keep it bagged.
I get the idea. Savage
Gotta
Dragon.
keep it bagged. I got it. She says, I volunteer to go into the black hole in space. Perverts. That's a great series of comments. So next week, we're going to be talking about a much more family-friendly book, because it's about a family. We're going to be talking about 3 issues, if you can believe it, because next week is a lean week. So we're going to be talking about Meet the Skrulls, issues 1, 2, and 3. A second print of #1's coming out, and the 3rd issue is coming out. But it's not really
So hunt for that issue 2, everybody.
Yeah, I don't think it's really a hot book or anything, so you should be able to find them pretty easily. And our guest is going to be Bear Island Comics, who is pretty new to YouTube. His first video was really great, and I'm not just inviting him on because he gave me a shout out in his video, but I'm not inviting him because of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
we'll tune in. I've loved that series so far. So.
Yeah. So unless the 3rd issue is a real letdown, should be a good conversation. And then tomorrow night, John, you got a thing going on?
Yes, I do. I've got 2 shows tomorrow. At 5 o'clock Pacific, I'm doing the Green Lantern breakdown with the 2 Matts. On Thanatos' channel, we'll be talking about Jeff Johns' run of Green Lantern, and they're on trade 3, which is the No Fear trade, if you're following along. So we'll be doing that on Matt's channel. We'll be chatting about Green Lantern. And then when that ends, should be by 7 o'clock, I'll be jumping over to my channel because I got a TJ Watson box down here, and Alec is going to help me lose my shit.
And
we're going to have Chad 90 motherfucking comics.
For the record, it's not really Mother. It's Miles From.
Yeah, Miles From, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm not on my channel. Tomorrow I'll just say Miles From.
Yeah.
And then you have something coming up on Sunday.
Saturday.
Or Saturday. Sorry, Saturday.
I Got Issues and myself are hosting a charity auction on my channel at 9:30 on Saturday. Proceeds are going to benefit Smile Train, the CBLDF, and the American Brain Tumor Association. And some people have sent us some pretty nice books to sell. And not to mention the fact that Chris is auctioning off a giant size X-Men one.
That's what I was going to say.
Holy
Holy
shit.
crap.
Yeah. So tune in for that, because it's going to be about a 4-hour auction with all the stuff people are sending us. Better get my rest up, because I'm going to be doing a lot of impressions. It's gonna get weird, but it's for charity. Can't be weirder than this episode. And then Monday, I'm starting my new Comic Core show, Story Comic Core, with Chad 90 Mother Effin' Comics, Caleb the Comic Smurf, and Comic Head 84. and maybe these guys are going to show up. Not John. And
the fuck.
And that is not true. I got issues, and I expect we are going to raise that much money. If we don't, I will be disappointed in the community because we have a lot of great books.
JP says, when will he get his 91st comic?
We're going to be, anyway, we're reading Why the Last Man on that show. And
just the first trade, or
we're going to be reading the entire series. If they want to put up with me for that long. But we're starting out, we were going to do Long Halloween, but then directly before we did our stream on Monday, Comic Books NYC, my good friend, announced that he, on his other show on Mondays, is going to be reading that next week. So we thought that would be kind of crappy to do. So we're going to do Why the Last Man, and then when we're done with Why the Last Man, we're going to read Age of Apocalypse.
Hell yeah.
So
Awesome.
Any Vertigo, you got my vote right there. I'll tell you right now. Earlier, I heard the guys talking about 100 bullets. Yeah, any Vertigo, I'm in.
Yeah, you already have your Comic Core show. You're not allowed on this one.
I know, fucking hell.
And so that's Saturday night charity auction. Monday night, that other show. Tomorrow night, John's stuff. First Issue Club every week. I'm going to be at MegaCon probably, definitely, at least a couple days. If anyone is in Orlando or is going to be in Orlando, hit me up. We'll go digging together. I think that's it, right?
Cool. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
I got issues. It's not true, dude. You were just on my channel like a week ago. And we're going to be on again soon. So be ready, sucker.
What do you mean no one invites me to shows? You've been on. I literally just talked about how we're doing a show together for like 10 minutes on Saturday.
Freaking hell.
All right. I'm going to wrap this one up. Get it? John, I only do this because John hates it so much. Throw up the horns. This band's called Sky Tigers. They're friends of mine. They're going to be in the Battle of the Bands on Friday if you live in Boston at the Once Ballroom in Somerville. Go check them out. Thanks for joining us. Never turn your back to the ocean. Bye.